Hello everyone, I'm Michael Kammes, Director of Technology here at KeyCode Media, and welcome to the 5th KeyCode Media Broadcast to Post web series installment, where we educate and share with you the tech tools that make your workflow and creative process easier, with tools specifically designed for your needs. I'm excited today because in this installment we've got James McKenna, Vice President of Facilis Technology, to chat about and demo the Facilis Shared File System and their software companion, Fast Tracker, plus their storage solutions in general. But not just storage. No, far from it. Specialized storage for high bandwidth workflows for editing, conforming, and grading inside Avid, Adobe, Apple, and Resolve. SAN storage capable of not only serving up your offline media to multiple stations, but also delivering camera originals and other high-res media directly to your NLE du jour. Facilis also features Fast Tracker, a dead simple way to find media sitting on your storage. This helps reduce the amount of folder searching at the OS level or beating up on that finder to locate that one shot you need. Okay, I'm sure by now you want to see this thing in action. So now is the time in the show where I bring in James McKenna from Facilis to talk a little bit more about all that Facilis brings to us content creators. Now, during the presentation, I'd like to encourage our audience to ask questions on Twitter using the hashtag #ExtremeBandwidth or comment on the live Facebook or YouTube feeds.
Thanks, Michael. You know better than most, a lot of facilities have issues keeping up with the requirements of streaming deliverables. And with good reason. This content should be made to last, and it should be compatible with multiple screen resolutions in consumers' homes. We want to enable our customers to be able to deliver that type of content into the next decade with minimal upfront investment. This isn't as much about hardware as it is about forethought and vision. We take pride in our system's ability to be operational day one, hour one after being installed, but still produce viable content into the next decade. We have thousands of customers worldwide, tens of thousands of users, and they're all concerned about the same thing everybody else is. Will the next project be too much for us to handle? When we first met Troy at Running Man in New York City 10 years ago, he was just an Avid editor trying to enhance his craft. Next time around, he was the owner of the facility, and a facility that's growing. And his job was to make sure that his staff was capable of producing content for streaming deliverables in 2018. He's invested in hundreds of terabytes of Facilis shared storage and a hub aggregator. And these service both his heavy-duty online work and his offline work throughout the facility. Brandstar is a marketing firm in Florida. They did their homework. They came up with a Facilis solution, which we deployed a few months ago, and it enables them to get into the next phase of content creation. They had a volume level locked fiber channel system that we replaced. They liked the speed of the sort of block level fiber channel storage, but they didn't like the workflow or the complexity or the aging nature of it. So with higher tech system with new technology, shared file system, file level access across fiber channel clients at high speed. They're using 32 gig fiber channel, and they're seeing speeds well beyond what they saw with their old block mode fiber channel system. Stay tuned for our announcements because on Fox Business we will be airing a segment of the show Inside the Blueprint that highlights the Facilis deployment within the Brandstar facility. So performance is great, but it's the efficient workflow that really increases productivity. With Facilis' Fast Tracker asset tracking software, facilities can manage assets in password-protected catalogs with automated index preview clip generation for full playback of media, audio, and video, even after it's been archived. Because Fast Tracker is integrated directly with the Facilis server, there's no need to manage an external workstation. And the Fast Tracker software has access to all the storage volumes being used across the facility. Unlike standard NAS, Facilis uses a custom shared file system. optimized for audio and video playback from the most popular applications, and removes a lot of the complexity of network attached storage. The Facilis shared file system has the ability to mount a network attached volume as a local attached device on the client desktop. You'd be surprised how much that changes the performance of some popular applications. Not only that, but we can fail over between fiber channel and Ethernet or multiple connectivity types of each. And we can remotely mount the volume from any place in the facility onto any other workstation, from the administrator console on your laptop or even your phone. This type of power just isn't possible with network attached storage devices. Facilis has been developing our shared file system since 2009, and we're just getting started. The next phase of development will show even more features that differentiate ourselves from network attached storage, being faster, being less complex, being easier to use, more compatible with the applications that you use every day, and less dependent on variations in client-side operating systems. So let's put this all together and see how it works. Let's go to our Mac desktop. So here we are with some volumes mounted. They look like local hard drives. Like I was mentioning before, we do have the ability to mount network volumes as local hard drives through our shared file system. And if I get info on one of these, you'll see that it also mounts as AvidFS. And AvidFS, of course, gives you the ability to run bin locking and media sharing as if you were on an ISIS or a Nexus system. So from here, I see I have the volumes mounted, so I'll go directly into my Premiere project. So this is just a blank Premiere Pro project, CC 2018. You'll see the bin lock here because the new project sharing code that Adobe has in CC 2018 emulates the Avid bin locking. And I'll go to my Fast Tracker panel, which is opened under the Windows Extensions Fast Tracker panel. And that brings up a login screen. The login screen, I have my user and my password, the IP address of the server, and I'll log in. From here, I see whatever catalogs I have permission to from my user account. And I see there's a Holland catalog that I'll be working with for my offline cut. I'll go ahead and search that. Now I see a bunch of clips here that look like what I'll be using for my Holland project. They're Amsterdam footage. I know I have rights to it because I shot it. And from here, I can play the preview clip. I can bring it out to full panel size if I want to. Now this is a low-res preview clip, sort of a proxy, that was created by the Fast Tracker software on the Facilis server. So if I decide that's what I want, I'll need to get access to the volume, because right now this says unavailable, which is I don't have permission to view the volume or to see the volume that where this media exists. And I can go here and see the volume is offline Holland. So I'll have to have the administrator fix that for me. So I'll go out to the administrator desktop here, and he'll go in, he or she will go into the administrator console, and from here I see the offline Holland volume exists, and it is set to only administrators. So I need to set that to editors as well. So I'll go group editors with write permission and add that in. I know that my user who's logged in right now at the desktop of that Mac OS X is currently in the editors group. So I'll go ahead and back to that, and we'll see what happens. So I can hit refresh here in the panel, not having ever gotten out of Premiere on the desktop of the Mac system, and I'll see that that turns to mountable. Mountable simply means I can mount the volume where this media exists, and I can do it directly from the panel. So I'll hit mount here, and immediately those clips come online, which means I have access to the high-res media, not just the preview clip anymore. So from here I can grab as many clips as I want and bring those down into my bin. I can bring them directly into the timeline. Although if someone has marked a clip for me, specifically for the intro of this cut, maybe I can search for that. Search for intro in this catalog, and you'll see, yep, that clip was marked with a comment of intro, which is what the producer did to tell me that this is going to be the first clip in the timeline. Import that to the timeline, and that becomes my first clip, and I can start the cut from there. So you see how simple and easy it is within Premiere Pro itself to find my asset, to be able to bring it into the project, even to mount the resource behind the asset so that I can have it, the high-res media, on my desktop. All that done very simply within the Fast Tracker application. These clips themselves are actually proxy files. They're 1080p files that were converted from Camera Raw, and they were also converted to OpenEXR for color grading. I can see here if I go to that same catalog and do a search for EXR, oh, there's some more clips. They also have previews. These are the actual OpenEXR file sequences that have been created from that same media. As you can see, it's a little bit different in terms of contrast. Now these are unavailable to me because I don't have the online volume open. And the online volume exists in the same set of drives as the offline volume, but I'm going to use the online volume on the Resolve system. So I'll go straight over to the Resolve and we'll take a look at that. This is my Da Vinci interface. So I'll go into my Fast Tracker application to do the search here for the EXR files, the same as I did over in the panel, and I'll see them all pop up here. I'm going to drag and drop them from this interface directly into the Resolve pool of media. This eventually will move over to the web interface. It looks very similar to the panel in the next release of Fast Tracker. So what I see here on these clips is they are EXR, 16-bit, UHD, 3840x2160 at 29.97 FPS. So I'll head into my edit section, grab a few of these clips, and drag them into my timeline. And simply hit play. Now you'll see this coming straight up to 29.97 frames per second. That's EXR 16-bit sequential file sequence at 29.97 frames per second. You'll see here that I'm peaking out about 1.3 or 1.4 gigabytes per second. That's 1300 megabytes per second. That is power to be able to play back a full sequential file EXR 16-bit timeline from the same storage I was just using in the offline editorial process. And what storage is that, you may ask? Well, that's the big reveal of this whole project. I'm doing this entire timeline, offline, online, EXR 16-bit, 1.4 gigabytes per second on an 8-drive system. It is our lowest end entry-level system. Now, would I suggest that system for high-end workflows like this? Probably not. 32 terabytes is going to get kind of small after a while, but you can see the power of even our low-end systems and how we can scale to enormous bandwidth from multiple workstations all playing back at uncompressed 4K and 8K resolutions. Let's head back to our timeline here, and I'll make it a bit shorter so we don't go crazy here trying to render out a very large piece of media. And with this, I will simply go to my delivery. I'll make this an H.264, very simple, right back onto the online volume in the outputs folder, and I will call it approval. Add that to the queue and start the render. So you see it's rendering it pretty fast as well. If I bring up my status once again, I'm rendering, topping out in the 500 to 700 megabytes per second range. Now, while that's rendering, the Fast Tracker is built to use watch folders or auto indexes. So it's already pointed to this location, this output folder. In fact, that entire volume is being indexed on a regular basis. So I know as soon as this is complete, that's going to be there, and I'll be able to view that directly in the catalog. Once that's complete, all I need to do is go back to my Mac system, go find whatever has been brought into the catalogs in the past 10 minutes, and there it is. Here's the approval copy. I already have a preview clip, and you'll see that there's the cut. So it's as simple as that. We just saw offline streamlined through the use of Fast Tracker cataloging, catalog access to the media assets that the editor needed at that time. We just saw an OpenEXR timeline played back in real time on an 8-drive system, our low-end system. reaching 1.4 gigabytes per second on a Fibre channel attached workstation. We saw that move back through Fast Tracker again, auto-indexed into the panel, where it's then opened up and the cut is viewed for approval in its full color-corrected form. This is the Facilis way of adding more value to your product over time. As you grow, as your formats grow, as your workflow enhances, we'll be able to keep up with you, because even our low-end products can handle the challenges of streaming deliverables today. Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate all your attention. I'm going to send this back to our hosts, Keycode Media and Michael Kammes.